Hey guys, what we're looking at now is the relationship with stress. We've just moved through mastery over the mind and the body and understood that our circle of truth and understanding what we think we want, and being and being able to clear the noise to find our center point. Here we're going to have a look at our relationship with stress and shift that perception of stress. And we can use that with the stress chart. Now, understanding how stress works is something that we're constantly trying to figure out. But a simple way that we can work through that is just understanding our own levels of stress and how they affect us. So we're going to use this stress chart to be able to identify how stress works with us so we can stay within our ranges. So what we've got over here is we've got performance, and we've got overload, we've got high performance, and then we've got low performance. And along the bottom here, we've got stress. Now, stress can come up. We've got this inverted U process, which is really similar to arousal and performance. It's based off the same thing, but we've just tweaked it a little bit to get a better understanding of where we sit within our stress levels. And we can start to use numbers and start to identify where we sit. So the idea here is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's when we've got reasonably low levels of performance. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, again, we've got low levels of performance. But what tends to happen, or what we're going to have a look at, is sitting between our high performance state, or what's referred to as steady state. Now that steady state is in our 4 range. So we want to be looking at the 5, 6, 5. Now that steady state is where we sort of toggle up and down just a little bit between stress. We get a little bit of stress and we get that high performance, and then we can get lower. Now this is where we want to spend most of our time. This is where we want to spend a lot of our training. We want to train ourselves to be in this level of steady state. Now what happens is the next part is that we want to have a look at when an event happens that then takes us up over to our high stress. So we've got these normal little stresses, but then we have something that happens and it takes us up, and we can hit that 7 and 10 out of 10 stress. So what we want to be able to do is identify when that 7 and 8, 9, 10 happens. And when we can identify that, we can understand that we need to drop back down to our level of steady state. Because otherwise what happens is that if we go up and we try and stay in that level of 7 to 10 for a long time, we can't sustain it. It's not sustainable. So it then drops away and we head back down to our low performance state. Now if we try and stay up here for longer and we get more stress that happens onto the body, it can come up and then drop back down. Now that's when we can start heading into exhaustion, fatigue, and real low levels of performance, and it's really hard to get out of that place. So what we want to do is to be able to go back to our steady state, keep with our training, so that when we have that stress that comes on, we can go up to our high level. We can identify that 7, 8, 9 is coming, so we can then drop back down to our steady state, to our high performance state, and then level it out. So that's when that 5, 6, 5 come into play when we're sitting in here. Now this is our high performance level. This is where we want to be able to find that balance between our stress, so that when we do hit the 7, 8, 9, 10, we drop back down to our level of training, so we can stay at this level of stress, 5, 6, 5, for a longer period of time, and stay in that level of high performance. So that's how our understanding our stress becomes a really important factor for our high performance. So in a nutshell there, what we're looking at trying to do, and this is where the SAS guys become such a really good example. What these guys do is that they drop to a level of training. So they train to become aware of every scenario, every situation, so that when they do get into that scenario, and for them it's life or death, so they then want to be able to drop to a level of training with a calm and quiet mind. And that's what we're looking at doing here. we're seeing that where our 7 and our 8 and our 9 is coming into play, we're able to then drop down to that level of training so we can then stay in our high performance state for a longer period of time. And these guys are able to toggle, and most high performers are able to toggle between that high performance state really comfortably because they train for that. And now if we do try, as I said, if we do try and stay in that 7, 8, 9, 10 for long periods of time, more stress will compound and we just can't handle it. It's unsustainable. And that's when we drop all the way back down to this area, which is our low performance. And that's when we get exhaustion, fatigue, and executive function starts to decrease. And when we're at that, when we're in that place, we're just not at our best. That's when we really need to take a look at what's going on, take a step back, and really put together a recovery plan and program to be able to get ourselves back up to our steady state. So that's our stress chart. We'll go through that, understanding where our 5, 6, and 5s are, and working between our 4s to be able to stay in our steady state. So it's a pretty cool chart to understand, and looking forward to the next part.